Summative assessment tools for modular distance learning from DepEd Order number 031 series of 2020. Presenter, yours truly. Let's start. So why do we need to assess learners' written outputs and performance tasks? This is in closure to DepEd Order number 031 series of 2020 and under the interim policy guidelines for assessment and grading in light of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan. We have the reasons behind why we have to do assessment. Number one reason, let me read out. The continuing threat of COVID-19 in the country and the world brings about unprecedented challenges to basic education. As schools prepares for the school year 2020 to 2021, teachers and parents must adapt to alternative learning modalities to ensure that learners achieve essential curricular goals. This will require creative and innovative ways of designing optimal learning experiences and assessing learning progress effectively under adverse circumstances. Second reason, as stated in the DepEd Order number 8 series of 2015, the policy guidelines in classroom assessment for the K-12 basic education program assessment should be used to inform and improve classroom practices and promote learning outcomes. However, in distance or blended learning environments, in our case, modular printed learning environment, it is necessary to utilize alternative tools and strategies for assessing and supporting learning while avoiding creating undue pressure on the teachers, learners, and their families. We do have here the assessment tools in the learning area of languages. For the written outputs, we have book reviews or article reviews. Such example, then we do have essays, how to structure the essays. Then the journals, an example, letter writing. Well, it says here, letter writing is the heart of written communication. It is the process of expressing, informing, or persuading through text. Then we could have reaction or reflection papers as written outputs and reports. For the product, let me present this to you, but since product is not part of the assessment in this time of pandemic, but let me present in case we do have a face-to-face classes as soon as the vaccine is available. Campaigns, case studies, collage. Then we have compositions, also we have literary analysis, and multimedia productions. Still on the products, we have portfolios, research projects, story or poem writing. For the performance-based tasks, we have interviews, an example, then multimedia presentations, then we have project making. For mathematics, we have the written outputs, data recording and analysis, geometric and statistical analysis. We have here the presentation for Hablon making, and then we have shapes, geometric charts, graphs, problem sets, sample, then surveys. Why do we need to take surveys? Because we need feedback. And these are the attributes of survey methods. And there is this API. And currently, this is common because the cell phone can download an app. Especially right now, say example are QR app and so on. So API means Application Programming Interface. For mathematics, we have products such as diagrams, mathematical investigatory projects, product of MI, models, making models of geometric figures, then number representations, and portfolio. So we can have samples of portfolio and investment portfolio. Performance-based tasks. We have constructing graphs from surveys conducted, like blood types of 25 donors in the form of pie graph. Then we have bar chart, multimedia presentations. We do have outdoor math. In here, you have to know the number of plants planted, and then we have the seashells. Performance-based task further is in the form of probability experiments, tossing a coin, then we have throwing cards, throwing a dice, then we have the tree diagram, then problem posing. So we have the meaning of problem posing. It is an act where the teacher is taught while teaching and everyone teaches one another with their surroundings and the world in which we live in. Another one, in posing problem education, people develop their power to perceive critically the way they exist in the world with which and in which they find themselves. They come to see the world not as a static reality, but as a reality in process, in transformation by Paulo Freire. Reasoning and proof. In geometry, this is common. Then we have the performance skill-based task skill, using manipulatives to show math concepts and solve problems, like exploring manipulatives, the Lego. That we have here a lot of examples for manipulatives. Advantages of using manipulatives. We have this is used in the association by INCTM. Then manipulatives help develop understanding in mathematics. And we have benefits of healthy attitudes towards math, and manipulatives are valuable to mathematical instructions. Using measuring tools and devices. We have sewing measuring tools, also best measuring tools for baking. We also have measuring tools for electronics and EIM. Then we have science written outputs like concept maps for trees and water, data recording and analysis. So we have here data warehouse, analytics, and so on. For science, written output still, laboratory report and documentations, reaction or reflection papers. We have the structure here. And then surveys also is under science written outputs. Okay. Then for the product, investigatory projects. What composes investigatory projects? So methods with a purpose. It's in the form of a research. You formulate hypothesis, you do experiment, or learners do analysis and interpretation, and finally conclusion. Models and diagram constructions. We have the model of a cell phone. We have a cell phone and also the prototype building, research papers. Performance-based tasks. We have designing and implementation of action plans. What are action plans? It involves objective, strategy, collaboration, schedule that involves time. It needs to be acted upon. Then we need to check and implementation. And again, it forms a cycle. Designing various models. So in this case, we have instructional design models to help create effective learning materials. Then we have here the 5 E's in developing our lesson plans. And then doing scientific investigations. We have descriptive, comparative, experimental, issue awareness campaigns. We have also laboratory activities. In here, we can have virtual laboratories in which a teacher can stay in school and video himself or herself for the learners to learn such an experiment. Or the learners at home has this gadget, laptop or tablets in which he or she can watch the video or learning activity videos. Then multimedia presentations. Then we have simulation. We have your traditional instruction can be successfully enhanced by using computer simulations. Also in simulation, we can simulate reality a number of times. We have teaching, learning, and leading with computer simulations. Why do we need simulation? It says here, tell me I forget. Show me I remember. Involve me I understand. By a Chinese proverb. So if we involve learners, they totally understand. They are engaged. Then we have skills demonstrations. In here, 3 ways for students to demonstrate healthcare skills during distance learning. So say, for example, record a skills demonstration video. Ask the learners to have a family member record a video of them going through the steps of a skill using a sibling or other family members as the patient. Or create a comic strip. Ask your student to create a comic strip that walks through the steps of unassigned skills checklists. Analyze an existing demonstration video. Assign the learners to analyze and critique existing demonstration videos online. Then we have process skills such as we have observing, measuring, classifying, inferring, predicting, communicating. These are the process skills. Verification experiments. The scientific method of an ongoing process and so on. Then we have written outputs. In Araling Panlipunan, we have the concept map and organizers, essays, journals, news writing, news article reviews. Careful of this, news article reviews, because there's a lot of fake news roaming around, so we need to be factual, or learners has to be factual in doing their news articles or reviews. Reaction or reflection paper. An example. For the product, we have collage and diorama making. Examples of collage, diorama example. Leaflet, poster, and slogan making. We have a leaflet, it's okay to ask for help. And another one is what is plagiarism. Then we have posters and slogan. Be the change here that you wish to see in the world. And another slogan. Genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. For the product still, we have map construction, the map of the Panay Island and Municipality of Miagao. Then we have research work. In Araling Panlipunan, we have research seeks to understand the hows and the whys of human behavior, and also the theories or the process of doing a social science research. Timelines. Example, you can ask the learner to have the timeline of their academic career, like when they started grade 1, when were they started elementary. Then we have the history of transportation. Then we have for the products, the film, documentary reviews and analysis, advocacy paper. Teach with movies. We have lights, camera, learn. Then we have performance-based tasks or Araling Panlipunan. We have community involvement. Here, social responsibility begins at home when learners has to get their part of answering or performing their modular or printed modules at home. So in that way, they are involved in a community. Also part of the community is when we have these activities going through our community. And then this is now the interviews in the time of pandemic. We have also issue awareness campaigns like social justice, neglected children are made to feel invisible. In this case, we need to do assessment, formative, summative, and we need to have summative tests and performance tasks so that no child is left behind. News reporting. Then in writing a news or reporting a news, we need to abide by the code of ethics. Then we have presentations and multimedia presentations. Again, simulation. So we have here the simulation cycle. Step 1, conceptualizing a simulation. Step 2, we have creating an immersive environment. Step 3, integrating technology. Then simulation, assessment. After that, we have to debrief. And then we have to evaluate the learning outcomes. For music, we have written outputs, essays, reaction or reflection paper, research paper, products. For music, we have musical instrument arrangement, musical song analysis, musical research, and writing program notes. For the performance-based tasks, multimedia presentation, musical presentation, skills demonstration. An example, we have this multimedia presentation or skill demonstration. Example, the learner's voice is in the song of his or her choice. The next is the song that an example that we can incorporate in the subject area, music.
This is the new normal for staff on the front line. Very soon, they'll only be treating patients with suspected coronavirus.
For the learning area in art, we have the written outputs, essays, reaction or reflection paper, research paper. For the product, art criticism and appreciation compilation, and art exhibit. Art projects, that we have portfolios or the compilation of an artist's work. Then for the performance-based tasks, we have art production, multimedia presentation, and we have portfolio. Skills demonstrations such as drawing, coloring, and painting. For physical education, or PE, we have written outputs, essays, all about physical education, then reaction or reflection papers, research projects. Then also products, we have article journal reviews, personal fitness and health logs, examples, and portfolio, of course. Performance-based tasks, personalized exercise program, say weekly fitness plan of the learner at home. It's so difficult to implement this, but we can remind the learner the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step by Lao Tzu. So to motivate them. Then physical activity or participation could be by themselves alone or with their family. Physical activity or fitness assessment, get active, stay healthy, then skills demonstration. For health, we have written outputs, essays, journal, article review about health, reaction, reflection paper, and research paper. Then for the products involving health, we have journal responses, personal fitness and health logs, and also portfolio. Performance-based tasks, personalized fitness and health program. We also have issue awareness campaigns such as mental health awareness. And this one also, I'm here to talk, and so on. Then, edukasyon sa pagpapakatao or ESP subject. Written outputs. We have essays, journal writing, and journal or article reviews. Also involve reaction or reflection papers on values and values education. We have helping others. Also for the products, we have argument analysis, expressing feelings and ideas, journal responses, letter, song, or poem writing. Performance-based tasks, issue awareness campaigns, presentations in multimedia presentations, personal action plan, plano ng pagsasabuhay, and situation analysis. Take note that we have this awareness campaign also on Republic Act 11476 or the GMRC and Values Education Act. Mental health awareness also. Then for the learning area, edukasyong pantahanan at pangkabuhayan and technology and livelihood education. Written outputs, we have essays, diagrams, charts, and models, work designs and plans. Example in cookery and drafting. Then we have for the products, we have technical drawing outputs, prototype building, products, projects using locally available materials. Performance-based tasks, skills demonstrations, skills applications in the real world situation. Laboratory exercises. Performance-based tasks still, we have the oral tests. This is an example of, say, NC2 assessment by TESDA. Then we have design, creation, and layout of outputs. And then a diagnosis and repair of damaged equipment. An example is MAU, and also in electronics, or in EPAS and EIM. Then we have a rubric. What is a rubric? It is a learning and assessment tool used to evaluate written outputs, products, or performance-based tasks. Also, it is a scoring guide that articulates the expectations and describes the level of quality expected from our learners. Rubric contains 4 essential features. Number 1, we have task description, or a descriptive title of the task learners are expected to produce or to perform. Task description. For number 2, we have a scale and scoring that describes the level of mastery. Example, does the learner exceed expectation? Or does he or she meet expectation? Or does not meet such expectation? Number 3, components criteria. Learners are to attend to in completing the assignment or tasks. Then we have description of the performance quality for number 4. We call it performance descriptor of the components or dimensions at each level of mastery. A rubric can be analytic or holistic. Analytic rubric, it articulates different dimensions of performance, provides ratings for each criterion or dimension. For holistic rubric, it describes the overall characteristics of a performance and provides a single score. Note that in developing a rubric, it should be emphasized that the higher points could be given for a certain level of mastery, depending on the complexity of the question. Holistic rubric, portfolio grading. This rubric is designed to evaluate the portfolio submission based on the content, presentation of work, and reflection. We have here the scoring and the performance descriptor for holistic rubric. 95 to 100, all required items are included with a significant number of additions. Items clearly demonstrate that the desired learning outcomes for the quarter have been achieved. The learner has gained a significant understanding of the concepts and applications. Still, on 95 to 100 score, we have reflections illustrate the ability to effectively critique work and to suggest constructive, practical alternatives. Items are clearly introduced, well organized, and creatively displayed, showing connection between items. For a 90 to 94 score, we have all required items are included with a few additions. Items clearly demonstrate most of the desired learning outcomes for the quarter. The learner has gained a general understanding of the concepts and applications. Reflections illustrate the ability to critique work and to suggest practical, constructive alternatives. Items are introduced and well organized, showing connections between items. 85 to 89 score, all required items are included. Items demonstrate some of the desired learning outcomes for the quarter. The learner has gained some understanding of the concepts and attempts to apply them. Reflection illustrate an attempt to critique work and to suggest alternatives. Items are introduced and somewhat organized, showing some connection between items. For 80 to 84 score, we have here the performance descriptor. A significant number of required items are missing. Items do not demonstrate basic learning outcomes for the quarter. The learner has limited understanding of the concepts. Reflections illustrate a minimal ability to critique work. Items are not introduced and lack of organization. Analytic rubric. This is an example for math problem solving. This rubric is designed to measure the quality of a process rather than the quality of an end product. Work samples or collections of work will need to include some evidence of the individual's thinking about the problem-solving tasks. For example, we have 3. Number 1, reflections on the process from problem to proposed solution. 2, steps in a problem-based learning assignment. 3, record of a think aloud protocol while solving a problem. We have here an example dimension, define the problem. Then we have mastered, we give 3 points, working towards mastery 2 points, needs improvement 1 point. We start with this mastered 3 points. It demonstrates the ability to construct a clear and insightful problem statement with evidence of all relevant contextual factors. Working towards mastery for 2 points, the learner demonstrates the ability to construct a problem statement with evidence of most relevant contextual factors, and problem statement is adequately detailed. Needs improvement if the learner begins to demonstrate the ability to construct a problem statement with evidence of most relevant contextual factors, but problem statement is superficial. Identify appropriate strategies for the dimension. Mastered, we have the learner identifies multiple approaches for solving the problem that apply within a specific context. Working towards mastery for 2 points, learner identifies multiple approaches for solving the problem, only some of which apply within a specific context. Needs improvement if the learner identifies only a single approach for solving the problem that does apply within a specific context. Third one, implement solution. Mastered, we have learners implements the solution in a manner that addresses thoroughly and deeply multiple contextual factors of the problem. Working towards mastery if the learner implements the solution in a manner that addresses multiple contextual factors of the problem in a surface manner. Needs improvement, the learner implements the solution in a manner that addresses the problem statement but ignores relevant contextual factors. This is all my presentation, and the references are here. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.